I came across this question this week and I couldn't stop reading the responses. And that's when I had an idea. Instead of reading hundreds of comments one by one, I organized them into patterns. What are people experiencing at work? What can we learn from it? Let's go ahead and check it out together. And then, of course, you can go ahead and explore it on your own. This is some good stuff. Let's go back to the question. What's an unspoken rule of corporate survival that they never teach you in school? Right off the bat, the top comment, so good. 9 out of 10 times, the only reward for doing good work is more work. Make sure the person above your immediate supervisor knows what you do for the company. Now let's look at some of the themes. Let's go by vibes, okay? So check out some playbook. Here's some summary from these patterns. Playbook, lots of constructive, pragmatic survival skills here, like make your work visible, build strategic relationships, make sure to protect yourself on paper. Let's see what people are actually saying on these. All right. Here's a good one. No promise or guarantee is final until you get it in writing, whether it is promotion, pay, etc. Know corporate politics well enough to not participate in them. And when your worth isn't being recognized in the company you're working for, go find another one. This one hits home. This one hits home on a career move I did recently. Do what you say you're going to do. When you say you're going to do it, will mean that you outperform 95% of people. Yeah, sometimes it's just that low hanging fruit. That low hanging fruit. Say you're going to do something, do the thing. Okay, so let's see what else we got here. So on the playbook, we have a lot of things like visibility and promotion strategy, career mobility strategy, strategic relationship building. I'm particularly interested in career mobility since you all know what I'm trying to go into leadership in the next year. So let's see what this is about. So quick summary of this sub-theme. Job hop every 2 to 4 years. I wonder if that's relevant now. I know that used to be the thing in tech is to job hop, but in this career market, in this job market, I don't think job hopping is gonna do too much good because it's hard to job hop, but negotiate from your strength. Last video, I talked about looking at some of my strengths, what I bring to the table, and some of my constraints and trying to figure out how I can utilize that in my goal of moving up and becoming a leader on paper officially. So here are some things. Let's see what it's saying here. Know corporate politics well enough to not participate in it. Don't follow the advice of people that have not moved up. Some are very good at blaming the company or their boss. I wonder how this resonates to you, but see the proof. For example, if you're going to go find yourself a coach, are you going to find a coach that's fit and looks like what you want, your goals, or are you going to find somebody that is not quite fit? So that's an interesting one, and I think that one's very, very good. Most of the time when somebody is blaming the company, they are right, but I'll rather focus on myself. Okay, so these are some interesting ones. Let's have a look at the reality check. All right, so here we have meritocracy is a myth. That is quite interesting. Definitely going to be looking at that. Politics and bias over performance, company disloyalty and exploitation. I've done some videos on some of these. So in general, reality check vibe is some of the critical voices. Hard work isn't rewarded proportionally. HR is not your friend. Sometimes advancement often hinges on optics in politics. So let's check out what this is saying. We saw this one. This was the highest one about work is rewarded with more work. HR is not there for you. I'm going to reserve my comments on that one. Don't work yourself to death because sometimes loyalty is not reciprocated. Sometimes you become too difficult to replace, which leads them to hiring externally for promotion opportunities, which could lead to frustration and quitting for another job. Okay, so this must be the response to the top comments. Totally true. When they see you can do much more, they only push for more. All right, so those are some things from this. And there are also overarching themes. All right, so here are some overarching themes: rewards versus effort, visibility and optics, institutional loyalty and protection, trust and relationship, self-presentation, and communication. All right, so we have some of those things that we looked at already mixed into this, and let's see which one that we want to look at. Let's look at visibility and optics. Summary of the theme: whether being seen helps or hurts. And this is split across this whole thread. So we have some people that talk about politics and bias and politics mattering more than substance. This is a great advice. Make sure the person above your immediate supervisor knows what you do for the company. I know I struggle with this sometimes. I would prefer to just focus on the work. Sometimes I think that the schmoozing is not worth it. But I hear this advice all the time where you really have to make sure that the things that you're doing are visible. Here's another one. Unconscious bias is a thing. And it's quite a long one. You can read this one on your own. If you don't have a dress code and show up every day in shorts and a t-shirt, that's fine. But if management shows up in button-down shirt and dress pants, know that if you want to be promoted, you're going to start to get handicapped. All right. So this one is quite a, seems like a good thing. Good things in there. Okay, so this one says, a CEO looking out for me early in my career once said, it's 60% who you know, 30% what you know, and 10% work. That sounds backwards, but I see where they're coming from. All that needs to come together. All that needs to come together to walk through the corporate world. It's more important to be well liked than to be good at your job. So I'm wondering what you all think about this. Feel free to explore it on your own. This just got my attention. I was reading this comment throughout the week, and I know I'm going to come back because there's so many things that I want to see and think through. Tell me in the comment below what you think about this, and let's keep this conversation going. This is really good. This is really important. This has been so fascinating to put together, and I'm really grateful for the 400 plus people who took the time to share their experiences. Mine is probably buried somewhere in there. I've linked the break room in the description below. So if you want to explore it, you can go there. And I would really love to hear what stands out to you and what you think everybody got wrong. If you're interested in conversation like this, I make videos every week about leverage, constraints, and my journey from individual contributor to leadership. And I would love to have you back.